Hi, I am Amanda Park. This is Building a Professional Capacity, Module 1, my personal introduction. So a bit about me and an introduction to my family. You'll see several pictures here. The one on the far left upper hand corner, that is our little guy. He was born almost 14 weeks early at 2 pounds, and so we call him our miracle baby. You'll then see 3 pictures of me and my husband, Chris. We do like to go to as many Chiefs football games as possible. We're avid fans, and that's how we spend time together a lot of times. You will see in the lower left-hand corner is me and my daughter, Dakota. She is a competitive volleyball player and has almost 10 years of experience under her belt. So she's been playing for a long time and plays at a pretty high level. In the middle, at the bottom, you will see our other 3 kiddos, Houston in the blue sunglasses, and he is also an athlete. He plays football, basketball, and is super excited because he had his first pick 6 this last season and is making strides in soccer as well. And then our daughter Natalie, she also plays soccer, and she is in gymnastics and loves horses, so is going to look at starting horseback riding. And then in the middle is our little miracle baby, and he is now 2 years old and thriving, so we're very blessed and lucky that he's doing so well. On the far right-hand corner, you'll see an array of pictures of my husband and I. We've traveled the world as much as possible while he spent 2 years in Germany with the Army, and we feel really lucky that we were able to spend that time together and travel as much as possible. So my personal versus my professional life. In my personal life, very family-oriented. I grew up in Augusta, which is east of Wichita. It's a small town, and I was the oldest of 4 kids. Both my parents were military. They were Air Force. And then I also married military, so I'm now an Army wife. We've been married for 1 year and 5 months, and we have 4 kids, ages 13, 7, 5, and 2. My hobbies, I love softball. I love to work out. I love to read, but I most importantly love to read what I want to read, not what I'm told I have to read. I know we're all probably kind of that way. Love to travel as much as possible. And of course, go Chiefs. That is our team, and we love football, and we are avid fans. In my professional life, I went to college at Friends University. I am a 2-time graduate at Friends University. So I am now a 2nd-time graduate student. But this is my first adventure with Fort Hays State University. My bachelor's degrees, my undergraduate degrees, I have 3 of them. My first one's in Spanish education, and then I have an English education degree and a Spanish culture and language degree, and a vast array of minors that go with those. I then went back and obtained a Master's of Global Leadership and Management, and so these classes for me are going to be a means by which I'm able to obtain a license for administration. And then as soon as I'm done with that, I hope to start my doctorate so that I can obtain a district license as well. For my teaching experience, I have almost 14 years total. I started in Wellington at the high school in Wellington teaching English, and I taught there for 4 years. I then moved on to Bluestem Middle School, High School, and I did not teach English there. I actually taught Spanish and technology, and I spent 2 years at Bluestem. I then moved on to Wichita Southeast High School and spent 7 years, and I really consider Wichita Southeast High School as my educational home, and I learned a vast array of information and gained a lot of tools for education as a whole. And I just recently finished 1 year at Junction City High School. My husband was transferred to Fort Riley, and so I taught at Junction City High School for 1 year. I did teach English there as well as Southeast. But I am no longer at Junction City High School. I'm taking the time to finish these classes so that I can go into administration as soon as possible. After spending almost 15 years or 14 years-ish in high school classrooms, I'm now venturing into a world of leadership and an opportunity to use the vast array of tools and opportunities and experiences that I've been blessed with and have been blessed to acquire over the years. So I'm really excited. I wanted to share some professional thoughts and ideas as far as education is concerned, because it'll give an insight as to how I feel the way I feel, and the analyses that I do give in various areas. So for me, education is a business. And moreover, the students and many times the teachers are all customers of this particular business. In order to successfully run any business, customer buy-in is essential. It is necessary in order to gain any type of profit. And of course, for us in education, profit is going to be considered to be the success and achievement. So professionalism is definitely a key factor in all of that. And then you need to couple that with collaboration and trust. And through that collaboration and trust, there is established that is established through the value and the vision that is upheld within the educational environment. What is a school mission statement? Well, a school mission statement is a public declaration, and it declares what a school does and why it does it. There need to be common high-level goals that have a curriculum philosophy, and in that philosophy you need to talk about all of those sought after accomplishments that the school has. Within the common high level goals, there also needs to be instructional approaches, and these are going to be the methods by which you want to achieve the accomplishments that you've set out for yourselves. And there need to be objectives and models. In other words, how are we going to model what we want done and what we want accomplished? It is a description for outsiders. It's a view from the outside, and it is the inside out view. And a school mission statement is also a mission of service to others. Our administrators are in service to our teachers are in service to our students, and as a whole, we service the community. What is a school vision statement? Vision is going to be a public declaration as well as the mission statement, but this is a description of the process or the means by which to make that change. So we have our mission, and our mission is what we want to accomplish. And then the vision is how are we going to get there? So this is how others view the school. This is an outside-in view. It is motivation. Vision needs to be a motivating factor. It's that fire under the tush that gets people to move. And it is inspiration. And that inspiration needs to have a common and very vivid purpose. It needs to be clear. There has to be a core belief system within the building and the environment itself to create a culture, and a shared passion. What is everyone passionate about? We're all passionate about students. Well, within that, how do we light that fire? What is our purpose? We need to have one purpose, one focus. School vision can be an incredibly powerful tool, and it can be the tool that actually drives all of the innovation and the change to acquire and accomplish all of the achievements that are set forth by the mission. And it is a relentless focus. Everyone's on the same page. We're all focused in the same direction. We're all on the same path, and we all see the same objective at the end of the path. The role and importance of school mission and vision. What is this? Well, it is motivation for excellence. It creates a culture of shared purpose. So the school mission and the vision coupled together, we're looking at, okay, what do we want to accomplish? How do we want to get there? And within all of that, it motivates us towards that goal of excellence. The mission and the vision together, coupled together, I see them as puzzle pieces that only create a picture when put together, and it creates a culture of shared purpose. So we have all of our stakeholders within the links, and we all share the same purpose for the mission and the vision. Together, the mission and the vision are a catalyst, and this catalyst creates a innovation change, and that change can be huge, even year by year. We can see great strides year by year if the mission and vision are not just in line, but established well. These two support active modeling and focused action. So the active modeling is just as it sounds. You are active modeling for students. Our administration is actively modeling for our teachers so that the leadership is seen and not just heard, not just written down, but we can see an active model of what it's supposed to look like. And the focused action is when you are in that action, all of that action is focused down the same path to achieve what you want to achieve through the mission and the vision. And the role of this mission and vision is also going to be to actively communicate direction from the top down. And it is a focus for all stakeholders. When everything falls in line the way it's supposed to, we then are able to bridge that gap between education, the environment in educational buildings, and the community as a whole. And when the community has buy-in, that's when it becomes really magical. And we see a lot of strength and a lot of change that is for good when that community is involved as well. And the mission and the vision provides priorities. What is absolutely most important in this educational setting and how we're going to get there? When we provide those priorities for the community, then they're better able to buy in, they're better able to be a part of what is going on. Because ultimately we want our students to be at a point where they are part of that community later in life and they are actively giving to and servicing that community as well. How do school mission and vision statements work together? Well, again, they're pieces of a puzzle that all fit together and link together to provide one big picture. And together they create a focal point for those stakeholders so they can see the map and follow that map in order to create the success and the achievements that we've set forth. They are the why and the how. Why are we doing this and how are we going to get there? They are a description of purpose and a means by which to achieve that purpose. Again, the mission is the purpose, and then the vision is the means by which to get there. They are the clarity and the direction of productivity. So when we are productive and we do that with clarity in where we are headed, and we are given direction in a means by which to be productive, then it all falls together. And again, all of those gaps are bridged and we are innovative and come to a change that is remarkable. What are the processes for collaboratively developing a mission and a vision? Leadership is absolutely key, but I think that it has to be active leadership. You can't sit in an office and send emails. You have to be in the classrooms. One of the prime examples that I've used from my past is when I was at Southeast High School, the administrator that I had at that time in that school, one of the goals for him and his team was to actively be doing walkthroughs in the classrooms every week. And the goal was to provide 2,000 walkthroughs throughout the building in one semester. And not only did they make that goal, but they surpassed that goal by like 1,000 because they were actively in the classrooms every single day. I saw administrators in my classroom once every couple of days. And that shows the students that the administration is serious, but it also shows that there is a good collaboration between administration and teachers as well. It shows a good relationship. And it shows a great presence, and I think presence is important. So leadership is going to be key. Identify unmet needs and wants through team collaboration. In order to achieve developing a mission and a vision, it's important for everyone in the stakeholder environment to come together. I think teachers need to come together. We need to have parents, community members, and I think it's really important to have students as a part of that collaboration team. And so that team collaboration should include all of the stakeholders. In developing that mission and vision, it needs to be based on research needs and wants and drafting of two lists. First, that list for the mission, and then the list for the vision. The vision list should have the priorities and passions listed. And then the mission needs to have the means by which to accomplish these priorities. We need to identify who will be served, how to accomplish serving those that are identified, and then the methods and means by which we are going to achieve those set goals. How are we going to get there? And it's important to hear the voices of our students because ultimately it impacts them the most. And I think we forget sometimes that in their young, innovative minds, they can sometimes come up with things we never would have thought of. And that's what we want them to do. That's the ultimate goal. So I think it's important to give them that outlet and that ability to be heard when we do that team collaboration as well. What are the processes for developing an actionable mission and vision, attentive to values and priorities? Data use is key. I love numbers, and data use is key. So research data needs to be used to identify needs in order to set those goals. When you use numbers, you can set goals that are more achievable, and the reason we see them as more achievable is because we can see when we hit those goals a little bit better. The collected data then needs to be used to identify the achieved goal status and the continuing needs. So as we see those numbers rise or fall or stagger or stay where they're at, that enables us to identify what needs to be changed in order to continue to meet needs, or do we need to change these needs according to the data that we are receiving. So numbers are key in a lot of the research in order to set priorities. Technology should be used as a tool by which to achieve all of the standards and the goals. And a part of the use of that technology is a common goal to teach and use effective digital citizenship. And that's not just with our students. We have many teachers who are not real accustomed to technology, and they also need to be mentored and taught in the ways of effective digital citizenship as well as just technology as a whole. It can be a powerful tool if we use it correctly. Our values need to be a shared passion, and these all need to be created as a common bond and goal for alignment and culture. When we all see the same vision at the end of the road, we all walk towards that same vision, and we all get there a lot quicker, and we get there together. Equity, everyone shares a stake in the vision and the achievements. When everyone shares a stake, it's more important to have ownership in that priority and in that value. And when you have that ownership, you have more pride. And that's going to be important for not just our teachers, but our students as well. And when that pride comes through, it's a big accomplishment for our administrators, and that keeps them motivated as well. Diversity. We're all different in so many ways. But I think the really cool thing about this diversity is that action in a shared purpose actually brings us all together, and we see a common goal, and we see how we're all more alike than different sometimes. And that's really important because I think that we all, a lot of our schools are very diversified now. And that's important too, because we do need to see things in different ways. But I think we also need to use those different means by which to come to one shared purpose. Community is a huge key stakeholder. This also supports this is also going to support the action. And when we have these key stakeholders in the community, when they buy into what we're doing, they provide a huge means for our kids to have connection. And our kids start to see the real world value of what they're doing because the community members are actively involved in what they are doing, and they're better able to see where the end of the road is for them and why they do what they do in a classroom. What are the characteristics of well-written mission and vision statements? Service. We are servants to one another, to our students, to the community, and I think it's very important for us to realize that that is a key characteristics. That is one of the key characteristics when we are writing a mission and a vision statement, that we need to realize, okay, who are we serving and how do we serve them best? We need to have clearly aligned goals. Everybody's on the same track. We need to identify the process. How are we going to get there? Do we all agree on these steps? Because if we don't all agree and we're all going in different directions, we're not going to end up in the same place. The well-written mission and vision statements will describe the priorities. So we're going to see the vision and how are we getting there, and what is the most important steps in the process. It needs to be precise. A broad spectrum type of mission and vision statement is not going to give us the guidance needed in order to obtain the achievements that have been set forth by the vision. An outlined educational philosophy and the identified methods. Okay, what is the curriculum going to be like? What is the philosophy of what we want our kids to accomplish? And then how are we going to get them there? Put into action in daily routines. I think this is so vital to the entire process. Why have a mission and vision statement if it's not going to be a part of an everyday classroom? And the methods need to be a part of that statement. Because when we use those methods, then the kids see the connection between the mission, the vision, and what they're trying to accomplish. Put into action in daily routines. Model, and make it consistent across the board throughout the building. Everyone needs to see the map and be on the same roads on that map. Visible and known by all stakeholders. So it needs to be these need to be statements that are visible in the hallways, in the classrooms, but it also needs to be a situation where these statements are used in the classroom within the curriculum itself, so that there is a clear link, there is a clear bridge between the statements and where we're headed with our curriculum. And when people come into our building, they need to see that vision in action. They need to see our mission in action and not just see it on the wall. What are the common problems associated with school mission and vision statements? Many times they're unknown. Not everyone that is involved or as a stakeholder knows what the vision or the mission is for the building or the district. It's not visible. It's not on the walls. You've not even gotten a copy as a teacher. I've been in buildings where I don't even know what the vision is or the statement is for the mission in that building, let alone the district as a whole. It's not specific to the needs and the environment of the building or the district. You need to be able to develop mission and vision statements that are very specific to your culture, to your community, to your stakeholders. A lack of knowledge and clarity. You read the statement and you have no idea what it says. And it's not clear, it's very broad, anything could fall within the boundaries of what is said. So that lack of knowledge of what it really says and what it means and the clarity of the words is incredibly important. But a lot of mission and vision statements don't have that knowledge or clarity behind them. And the reason they don't is because it's not discussed. It's not a priority for the teachers and the administrators, and they don't use it as the foundation for the curriculum in their buildings. No action. You have lots of fun, fancy words on the walls, but there's no action to support it, or it's not statement in action, it's just words on the wall. And so there needs to be action to support it and to drive it. It lacks commitment. When you don't have complete buy-in and not everybody's committed to the process, it's not going to work. And so it's incredibly important that when you bring those stakeholders together to create the mission and the vision statements, everyone has buy-in and they're willing to commit to that buy-in and that process for those statements, because that should be the foundational work for your curriculum in the building. So as a personal experience, there have been several times when I have been given no explicit guidance on statements of any kind. There was no alignment between the statements and the curriculum and the action required to implement those statements. And there were completely different views because it wasn't shared, or there was no view at all because it wasn't shared. School mission. So for me, in the teacher environment, I see things very differently. Now that I'm coming into a leadership role or a leadership environment, I see a different view of those statements and the importance of those statements. I also see that it's more clear to me on the leadership side how deep my head was in the sand with the statements as a teacher, because I was never brought to a point of knowledge with those statements in the buildings where I was. So I'm giving an example of the mission and school vision that were present, and they were given when I was at Southeast High School. However, the problem with the mission and the vision and all that was given to me at Southeast High School is that there was so much, and none of it was actually given to us in correlation with the curriculum for us to plan and use through development together as a whole. So we just had statements and we had action, but they didn't ever really come together. So the school mission there is to ensure that all learn to their potential in order to be successful. And I think that's a good statement, but I think that it's not well defined or specific enough, especially for the diversified nature by which the community at Southeast High School is. And it doesn't align with any of the action. It doesn't align with the curriculum or the development as teachers that we were given to implement the curriculum. The school vision is stated as student and staff behavioral support high levels of learning at all times. We will provide a continuum of support, engage authentic learning opportunities, maintain a high level of trust. These were all pretty specific, and they were giving a good defined nature by which to get to that end goal per se. But I think that the mission and the vision were maybe switched around a little bit, and we didn't have enough in guidance for getting to that end goal. It was almost too much, too broad, difficult to align, difficult to give any action to. Along with that, they also have guidelines for success and then the Buffalo Code. Now, these two are more geared toward the students. And I think one of the problems is that there's too much wording, it's not all aligned, it's difficult to support achievement of everybody involved when you have all these different visions or statements. So we have the guidelines for success and the Buffalo Code for the kids, and then we have the actual mission and the vision for the teachers. In reality, all of these need to be for everyone, because when they're not, then we're not on the same page. So I think that this is something that needs to be identified through, of course, superintendent, but also by the head principal in the building. And I think that from a leadership perspective and getting into this, I'm seeing that there very well could be a need to update, change, realign the vision and the mission yearly, to re-engage the stakeholders, to revisualize the priorities. And the data may support the need to change some of those priorities as well. So I think that it's good to look at these yearly. With that being said, I'm super excited for the leadership opportunity ahead of me, and I can't wait to proceed in the process. Thank you.